You know what's hilarious? For the last 15 years, rich people have been telling everyone else that real estate only goes up, that buying a $5 million McMansion in a gated community was a brilliant investment, that their wealthy suburb was recession-proof. Because, well, wealthy people always have money. Turns out that was a lie. Right now, across America, wealthy suburbs are experiencing something they thought was impossible. Luxury home inventory is exploding. Houses are sitting on the market for months. Sellers are slashing prices by hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the rich people who bought at the peak are discovering that nobody wants to pay $7 million for a 6,000 square foot house in a suburb with $18,000 annual property taxes. The wealthy suburb collapse is real, and it's happening in places you'd never expect. We're not talking about declining Rust Belt towns. We're talking about Scottsdale, Greenwich, Naples, the places where rich people congregated and assumed they were immune to market forces. So today we're counting down 10 wealthy suburbs that are collapsing faster than anyone expected. Because nothing brings me more joy than watching overpriced real estate finally meet reality. Let's get into it. Here's what's happening and why it matters. For the last decade, wealthy people fled to specific suburbs and luxury towns. They wanted low taxes, warm weather, golf courses, and the kind of isolation from normal people that only gated communities can provide. And real estate developers build for them. Massive luxury homes, country clubs, the whole wealthy suburb ecosystem. The problem is they overbuild badly. There are way more luxury homes in these markets than there are people who can afford them. And the people who can afford them are realizing that these suburbs are actually kind of terrible investments. First, property taxes in many of these places are insane. We're talking $15,000 to $20,000 a year or more for a luxury home. Second, many of these suburbs are in states or regions with serious climate or insurance problems. Florida hurricanes, Arizona heat. Third, the lifestyle isn't actually that appealing anymore. Golf and country clubs are dying. The younger wealthy generation doesn't want to live in sprawling suburbs. And fourth, the pandemic remote work boom that brought a lot of wealthy people to these suburbs is over. Companies are calling people back to offices. And living in Scottsdale starts losing its appeal when you have to fly to San Francisco twice a week. The result is a massive oversupply of luxury homes that nobody wants to buy. Sellers are cutting prices desperately. Homes are sitting vacant. And the wealthy suburbs that were supposed to be forever appreciating assets are discovering they're actually depreciating liabilities. This isn't a total collapse. These suburbs won't disappear. But the era of assuming wealthy areas are immune to market forces is over, and the people who bought at the peak are learning expensive lessons about real estate fundamentals. Number 10, the Hamptons, New York, starting with a place that's literally synonymous with wealth and summer houses. The Hamptons luxury market has seen a massive inventory surge. Homes that would have sold in weeks during the pandemic are now sitting for 6 months or more. Price cuts of 10 to 20% are becoming common, and sellers are shocked because the Hamptons were supposed to be bulletproof. The problem is the Hamptons got stupid expensive. $20 million for a beach house that you use 3 months a year. And wealthy New Yorkers are realizing they can buy actual mansions in other states for less money and use them year-round. The Hamptons are still prestigious, but prestige doesn't pay the property taxes when your house won't sell. The Hamptons are learning that being expensive isn't the same as being valuable. Number 9, Lake Forest, Illinois. Lake Forest is the North Shore Chicago suburb where old money lives, or at least used to live. Luxury homes here are sitting on market for months. The median days on market for high-end properties has more than doubled. Price reductions are routine, and wealthy families are quietly leaving for lower tax states. Lake Forest is beautiful lakefront property and historic charm. But Illinois has some of the highest property taxes in America. We're talking $20,000 to $30,000 a year for a luxury home. Add in Illinois state taxes and the weather, and wealthy people are asking why they're staying. The answer increasingly is they're not. They're moving to Florida or Texas and selling their Lake Forest estates at a loss. Lake Forest is where old money goes to become less money. Number 8, Orange County suburbs, Laguna Beach, Newport Beach, California. Orange County was supposed to be the California dream without San Francisco prices. Except now it has San Francisco prices without San Francisco jobs. Luxury homes in beach cities like Laguna Beach and Newport Beach are experiencing serious slowdowns. Inventory is up significantly, days on market are extending, and price cuts are frequent. The problem is Orange County is expensive in every way: housing, taxes, cost of living. And the value proposition of paying $5 million for a house in Orange County is increasingly unclear, when you can get similar or better for less elsewhere. Orange County is also dealing with climate issues, fire risk, water problems, and insurance costs that are spiking. Orange County is where the California dream meets the California reality check. Number 7, Vail Aspen area, Colorado. Luxury mountain towns that became pandemic darlings are now experiencing corrections. Vail and Aspen saw insane price appreciation during COVID. Wealthy people bought vacation homes sight unseen. Now those homes are sitting unsold. The luxury market is flooded with inventory, and sellers who paid peak prices are realizing they overpaid. These towns are beautiful, but they're also remote, have brutal winters, and the whole luxury ski lifestyle is appealing to a shrinking demographic. Younger wealthy people don't want to be tied to a ski house. Also, climate change is making ski season shorter and less reliable, which makes owning a $10 million ski chalet a questionable investment. Vail and Aspen are where luxury meets altitude sickness and market corrections. Number 6, Paradise Valley, North Scottsdale, Arizona. Arizona's wealthiest enclaves are discovering that building luxury suburbs in a desert has downsides. Luxury home inventory in Paradise Valley and North Scottsdale has surged. Price reductions of 15 to 20% are common. Days on market have tripled, and wealthy buyers are increasingly wary of Arizona's long-term viability. The problems are obvious: water scarcity, extreme heat that's getting worse, summer temperatures making outdoor living impossible for 4 months, and the realization that luxury desert living might not be sustainable. Paradise Valley and Scottsdale are still selling homes, but sellers are learning that luxury desert oasis is a harder sell when buyers are checking climate models and water projections. Paradise Valley is where the paradise is melting and the values are too. Number 5, Naples, Collier County, Florida. Naples is where wealthy people retire to play golf and avoid state income tax. Except now it's experiencing a serious real estate slowdown. Luxury inventory in Naples has exploded. Homes are sitting for months. Price cuts are everywhere, and the wealthy retirees who bought during the boom are stuck. Naples has all of Florida's problems: hurricane risk that's getting worse, insurance that's becoming unaffordable or unavailable, extreme summer heat, and a demographic that's aging with no young wealthy people moving in to replace them. Naples sold itself as paradise for the wealthy, but paradise has property insurance problems. Naples is where retirement dreams meet climate reality. Number 4, The Woodlands, Texas. The Woodlands is a master plan community north of Houston that became a pandemic boom town. Now it's experiencing a bust. Luxury homes that sold for huge premiums during COVID are sitting unsold. Inventory is way up. Price reductions are standard. And the wealthy families who moved there from California are realizing the Woodlands is basically a suburb in the middle of nowhere, Texas. The Woodlands has good schools and low taxes, but it's also hot, humid, and boring. And the commute to Houston is terrible. The pandemic made it viable because people worked from home. Now people are going back to offices and discovering they're stuck in a suburb they don't actually like. The Woodlands is where master planning met market reality. Number 3, Coral Gables, Florida. Coral Gables is Miami's wealthy suburb. Beautiful Mediterranean architecture, historic charm, and a real estate market that's starting to crack. Luxury home inventory is surging. Days on market are way up. Price cuts are routine, and wealthy buyers are increasingly concerned about Miami's long-term viability. Coral Gables has the same Florida problems as everywhere else: hurricane risk, insurance costs, rising sea levels, and the realization that Miami might not be the best place for long-term real estate investment. The houses in Coral Gables are gorgeous. But gorgeous doesn't help when your insurance premium doubles and you can't sell. Coral Gables is where charm meets climate change. Number 2. Atherton, Menlo Park, California. The Silicon Valley wealthy suburbs are experiencing something they've never experienced before: stagnation and decline. Luxury home inventory in Atherton and Menlo Park is up significantly. Price cuts are happening on properties that used to sell instantly, and days on market are extending. The problem is these suburbs are insanely expensive. 15 to 20 million for a house. Huge property taxes. And tech boom years are over. Layoffs, stock market corrections, and the end of free money means fewer tech millionaires buying trophy homes. Also, these suburbs are kind of soulless. Expensive houses on expensive streets where nobody walks and nothing happens. The value was always in proximity to Silicon Valley's success. But when that success is less certain, the housing prices look absurd. Atherton is where Silicon Valley wealth goes to question its life choices. Number 1. Greenwich, Connecticut. At number 1, the wealthiest suburb experiencing the most dramatic collapse, we have Greenwich. Greenwich has always been where Wall Street's ultra-wealthy live. But the market has shifted dramatically. Luxury inventory is at record highs. Homes are sitting for over a year. Price reductions of 30 to 40% are happening, and wealthy residents are fleeing to Florida for tax reasons. Greenwich's problem is Connecticut. The state has massive budget problems, high taxes, and is hemorrhaging wealthy residents. Property taxes in Greenwich can exceed $30,000 a year. Connecticut's state income tax is high, and the value of being in Greenwich has diminished as Wall Street has evolved, and people work remotely. Greenwich used to be a status symbol. Now it's a tax burden that wealthy people are escaping. The houses are beautiful. The schools are good. But none of that matters when you can save hundreds of thousands in taxes by moving to Florida. And your house in Greenwich won't sell. Greenwich is where old money is becoming someone else's old money. So what does all this actually mean? First, wealthy suburbs aren't immune to economics. Supply and demand matter even at the luxury level. When you overbuild luxury housing and the demand decreases, prices fall. Wealthy people are discovering this the hard way. Second, taxes matter a lot. High property tax suburbs are losing wealthy residents to low-tax states. Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, all losing people to Florida, Texas, and other low-tax destinations. And once that migration starts, it's self-reinforcing. High taxes fund services for wealthy people who are leaving, making taxes even higher. Third, climate and insurance are becoming major factors in wealthy real estate decisions. Florida's insurance crisis and hurricane risk, Arizona's heat and water problems, California's fires. These aren't abstract future concerns anymore. They're present-day deal breakers. Fourth, the pandemic changed everything temporarily, and people made decisions based on temporary conditions. Remote work made wealthy suburbs viable. Now remote work is ending, and those decisions look questionable. And fifth, luxury real estate is way more vulnerable to market corrections than people think. When a normal house drops in price, someone will eventually buy it because people need housing. When a $7 million house drops in price, the pool of buyers is tiny. And if they're not buying, the house just sits. So there you have it. 10 wealthy suburbs that are collapsing faster than anyone expected. This isn't Schadenfreude, though there's some satisfaction in watching overpriced real estate meet reality. This is market economics. These suburbs got too expensive. They overbuilt. The wealthy buyers. They depend on our leaving. And the houses are sitting unsold. Some of these suburbs will recover. Maybe. If they can lower taxes, improve services, and wait for a new generation of buyers. But some of them won't. They'll slowly decline as wealthy people continue migrating to more tax-friendly, climate-stable, actually interesting places. The wealthy suburb model of the last few decades is breaking. Massive houses in car-dependent suburbs with high taxes and climate risks aren't the status symbol they used to be, especially for younger wealthy people who want walkable urban areas or are digital nomads who don't want to be tied to one location. For people who bought luxury homes in these suburbs at the peak, this is painful. They're watching their supposed safe investments turn into depreciating assets. They can't sell without taking massive losses. For people thinking about buying in these suburbs, the question is whether the current discounts are enough to offset the long-term risks. Lower prices are good, but if you're buying into a declining market in a high-tax, climate-risk area, lower prices might not be low enough. So here's my question for you. If you could buy a luxury home in one of these suburbs at a 30% discount from peak, would you? Or are these suburbs fundamentally broken and no discount makes them worth it? Let me know in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious how people think about this. And if you enjoyed watching rich people's real estate problems, maybe consider subscribing. We cover housing markets, economic absurdities, and schadenfreude disguised as analysis. Someone has to document the decline of the American suburb. Might as well be me.